Hello everybody! It's nice to have you here. This is a video comparing QKids and VIPKID. These are, what I would say, the two staples of the online ESL work from home jobs. So what you do is you'll be teaching kids, and we'll be covering that all here in this PowerPoint presentation. Actually, it's not a PowerPoint, it's a Prezi, but it's close enough. Okay, so here we go. So let's start over here. I want to start with a disclaimer. I have bias. I am currently a contractor for QKids. Please understand that this does not mean I'll be pushing you towards QKids over VIPKID, as I believe both are great companies. However, it does influence my understanding and perspective. I will attempt to be as objective as possible. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's move over here. What will you be doing? Let's find out. So, you will be teaching. You will teach kids online via software or PowerPoint. Though the PowerPoint is more of a software-esque PowerPoint, it's very interesting. We'll have a picture of that later on. Now, this is Chinese children, so you do not have to understand or speak Chinese. You merely have to be fluent in English. You want to have clear diction, the ability to inspire children, and things like that. It's a great work from home opportunity, and let's cover some of the pros and cons. Pros! Working from home allows for flexibility in scheduling. So this means you can, if your husband comes home at 6 p.m. and you want to work after that or you want to work before that, you can try and see how that works. That's just the general tone of working from home. Now, with VIPKID and QKids, you have the advantage of being far above minimum wage. It's competitive. It's very competitive, I would say. The entry-level wages for these jobs is $20 to $24 an hour. Mind blown. That is obscenely good. As you can see in this chart over here, we're around here in the United States, so you can imagine what $20 would do for us an hour. Now, independent contracting is a pro, but it's also a con. We'll cover that too, because it's less management, more you. A lot of this is expecting you, you to thrive, you to excel, you to have the abilities, you to have the teaching style, the purpose. They will train you, but they expect you to help yourself to blossom. Okay? Alright. I also, if you hear anything in the background, it's my family being loud because they're chilling over here for the hurricane. Gotta keep myself safe. Either way though, sorry about that. Where was I? Right. There's valuable resume building experience. So, what this means is that for myself as a student coming in, I had no experience. The most I'd done is sell knives for Cutco. It was very strange. But I come in, they give me a chance, and I get this amazing resume builder. I can say, hey, I teach kids, second language, boom. All of that amazing stuff, all there. Another pro I would say is working with the children. Now these children aren't like, they're not spoiled, they're not rude, they're not anything like that. In contrary, they're actually very respectful, they're there to learn. Most of them are eager. Sometimes, of course, it's not all the time. There will be children that are a little bit sad or something like that, but that's not what we want to focus on here, okay? That's in the cons. So let's keep going. Ooh, there we go. Some of the cons. All right. Independent contractors receive no benefits. If you're used to a normal teaching job, you're not going to get the health care, anything like that. Independent contractors work for themselves underneath an employer who contracts them. That's pretty much the simples of it. Actually, I have a YouTube video in the description that covers that in great depth, which is fantastic. And taxes can be very complicated if not managed properly. By this I mean, I'm a 1099 miscellaneous employee, and I have to record everything. I have a bucket behind me full of receipts. That's expenses, things that I use to better my quote-unquote business. If I buy a new headset, that's a business expense. I can deduct that. If I get a chair for ergonomics or something like that, that's a business expense. I can deduct that. If I buy any props to help teach the children, that's a business expense. I can deduct that from my taxes as well. Okay. The flexibility in scheduling is at non-optimal hours for North America. This is because in Eastern time, Beijing is about 12 hours ahead. So for example, it's 1 p.m. for me right now. It's 1 a.m. in China, and I live in Georgia. This is, I believe daylight saving time hasn't began yet, but if it did, that would be, it would be 13 hours ahead instead of 12 for Eastern. And that can be problematic because not everyone can work that graveyard shift, that night shift. That's 8 p.m. through 9 a.m. one more time. Okay, and working with children can be both a blessing and a curse. So, for example, I say a curse because sometimes, kids are kids. Even the most well-behaved kid will have one day where they just don't feel like cooperating, or they don't feel like they're putting their A game, things like that. And that's to be expected. That's just something that should be reliably expected in the field. Okay? All right, let's keep going. Let's look at the pay. Over here, the pay per class and bonuses and incentives. So let's go with QKids. You get $8 per class, up to $10, $20 per hour. Classes are 30 minutes long. There's bonuses for quality of work and attendance. The up to $10 is because of the bonuses. It's like that for VIPKID as well. So you'll see this up to 20, up to 24. That's all with bonuses included. The average is for both of them around $20 an hour, but we'll cover VIPKID and how they have a little bit extra. QKids also has once a month payments, as does VIPKID. The referral bonus program, however, for QKids is $50 higher than a referral bonus program for a VIPKID. You get $100 for teachers that you bring in and successfully pass the program, which is really nice. And actually, once we cover holiday incentives, check this out. There's no holiday incentives. That's subject to change with QKids, so you won't get extra for working Christmas, for example. But I believe they're implementing a program to make that. But look at this picture. Here we can see the lesson, you get paid $8. So look over here, you see lesson, $8. That means if I completed 2 lessons, I got $8 for 2 lessons. Then there's also standbys. Standby is essentially when we're not sure, okay, maybe the teacher will show up, maybe they won't. We need you to possibly cover his slot. Now, because that teacher showed up, I don't have to work. I just go standby. And what this means is I essentially just sit there and they say they need me. I go in, I get $8. It's like a full class. They don't need me. They say, William, you're free to go. And for that time block, I can do whatever I want. I got paid $4 for doing nothing. Over here, you can see the referral bonus of $100 created. That means someone I referred was perfectly fine. They got through. Boom, $100. And here you see $6 bonus. That is for quality. The last week, I was very sick, so I only had 6 classes. But I got paid a quality bonus for the 6 classes, which is $1 per class, which is $6. There's also an attendance bonus, but I didn't meet that because I only did 6 classes. And that's okay. Let's go over here, then, to VIPKID. Now the pay is variable based on experience. However, the average is $8 to $10 per class. There's lots of holiday and seasonal incentives, so I think that's a really big boon that VIPKID has over QKids. There's also bonuses for participation in attendance, but both of them have these bonuses. I would just say that your average, you should think of it as $10 per class, as long as you're meeting the basic requirements. The referral bonus program is a little bit on the low side, but for example, during the summer, they increased that to $60 per teacher recruitment, which was very nice. And as always, it has once a month payments. You can see here, courtesy of Genevieve's blog, Wayfaring Wanders, the amount she got for students that showed up, scheduled, things like that. Now, here's something that worried me. This was obviously over during the summer, so maybe there's a lot of students that didn't show up. It's particularly difficult. She mentioned this. She also mentioned that it rebounds, so this is not against VIPKID. This is simply mentioning that, as you can see over here, when a student does not show up, you get half the amount. So it's essentially kind of like a standby from QKids. And if the students do not show up for QKids, you get paid the full amount, regardless if they're not there or not. If the students do not show up for VIPKID, you get paid half. Alright, so let's keep going. Let's go over here. Let's cover VIPKID Style. A certain teaching style is expected as you manage your classroom. So you look at these pictures. These people are amazing. I watched all of Nancy's videos. I watched Melanie. They are amazing teachers for VIPKID. I highly suggest watching them. But if you'll notice during their videos, they have these silly hats on. I mean, Nancy even has a little mustache, and it looks amazing for me to watch. But for me, personally, that's definitely not my style. I couldn't be that over the top. To me, it seems over the top. So that's a certain teaching style that's expected from VIPKID. Now, it's also professional atmosphere. They have a professional portal. They have professional announcements. If you look there, Facebook has almost 60,000 likes compared to QKids' 4,000. They're certainly bigger in gravity and depth. Now, if you look at these pictures, you maintain your classroom you have a certain image to it, and you have to be very animated, over the top. And if you're into that, that's totally fine. I highly recommend it. For me personally, I could not do that. Maybe my ego is just too fragile. So let's keep going. You can see their videos in the description over here, or sorry, the description of the video and over here in case you're interested. Look at the classroom style. There's one-on-one lessons using PowerPoint style formats. So you see over here, there's a lot of stuff, and Alice Tea Cake, she's a successful blogger. She does a great job with this picture. She mentions the students over here. She censors them, obviously, to protect the student's privacy. That's awesome of her. And over here is her, and you have lessons. So you see, you go through the lesson, they have some videos. It's all done for you, and you go through the PowerPoint you teach. But I've heard some complaint that perhaps the lessons can be too much information, too much stuff, too much material compressed. But of course, that would all depend on your teaching style. So that's more of a subjective thing. Okay, so now that we know that, this prioritizes teaching style over software mastery. As you can see, a good teacher like Alice Tea Cake or Nancy Taylor or Melanie, they will thrive in this type of thing. They wear the headgear, they get the students a really great classroom, but there's not too much software mastery required, which is ideal for people who thrive like that. Let's look over here at QKids, okay? So, in QKids, it's kind of the opposite. You can see over here, there's not one-on-one lessons. There's 6 students at most. I mean, I know here it has around 8, but that's no longer a thing. This is actually an outdated image. There can only be up to 6 max. So, as you can see here, this is the software that they use. They have different tools, utensils you can use, and all these images are found public, by the way. I'm not taking anything confidential. You could find this on their Glassdoor. You have the teacher over here, Carrie, and as you can see, oh, hang on, let me stop this call. Okay. So as you can see over here, you have Carrie. She's doing a great job of smiling, engaging students, and she has 6 students over here. She's using the software to control who's muted, who's not. You can move these icons over here onto the monster. It's very software based. You have to have a mastery of the software, okay? So that's what I think is the difference from QKids and VIPKID. VIPKID has one-on-one lessons with PowerPoints that focus on your teaching style to accentuate and bring out the lesson. QKids has up to 6 students per lesson, not always 6, it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, of course. QKids has up to 6 students per lesson, focusing on the software mastery to bring out the material that you want to teach them, okay? And I talked to you about standby earlier, essentially just saying, let's say Carrie isn't present and they need me to cover for her. I'll get paid that full class. If Carrie shows up and I'm on standby, I get paid half. I can do whatever I want for that class. All right, so also I want to mention classes are assigned to you based on your availability. I read with VIPKID that you have to do some pursuance. That is, you have to develop sort of an audience of parents that book you during your time slots, and that's really cool if you can make some really reliable parents that love you. You can develop a super good bond with a student. You can have them over and over. For QKids, you don't generally see the same students over and over. That's because your classes are assigned to you based on your schedule or your availability. So you won't see the same students very often. You'll have different students every time. Okay, so let's keep going. There we go. As you see over here, the classroom style, I've taught you a lot of this ahead in advance. Sorry, I know I talk so much. There's less props, less silly requirement during class, but you can use the software to bring the props forward. You can see this is actually a training session where Iris taught a bunch of teachers. Again, you can find this as a public image. You can find this on one of sorry, I'm getting so distracted. You can find this on one of their social media platforms. So that's the QKids Styles, and let's keep going. Over here we'll have Q&A. So the Q&A, which one should I choose? As of this point, by the way, the video is completely over. You can leave whenever you'd like. You can just pause the video here. I'll also have the Q&A in the description, but I'll read it for you anyways. So which one should I choose? Well, both companies are great. They pay well and have different feels. And I would say, why not apply for both? You choose which one you want. See if QKids gets you in, or see if VIPKID likes you more. They're both amazing companies. How's my experience with QKids been? Fantastic. Management has been more than kind to me and supported me in my potential. I mean, I have no prior experience as a teacher, but they really helped me blossom and excel. And when I have things like the hurricane hitting, for example, with my family all being over here, and I'm getting lots of messages, they're very understanding of that. Though VIPKID is also understanding of that as well. If you look at their Twitter right now, they have something about Hurricane Irma, if you need to take time off, things like that. And I think that's very, very good. Okay, what kind of taxes do I file? I file 1099 miscellaneous independent contracting. And is this job for me, as in you asking that to me? Well, I think this job is incredible for those who it suits. You have to wake up early, but if you love working with kids and can treat it as a real job, you will be more than fine. You'll make an easy extra $1,000 a month. So, thank you for watching this video. I know it was tremendously long and there was lots of interruptions, but I hope you got the gist of it and I hope you enjoyed it, okay? If you have any questions, comment. I love reading comments. I love responding. If you're from VIPKID and feel like I got something wrong, please comment. I'll pin your comment with the correction. I did my best to research it, and I'll also put the videos in the description that I referenced from. Thank you very much.